So in this lecture, I would like to discuss about scintillation counter, measurement of nuclear radiation is done by scintillation counter. We know Geiger-Müller counter. In Geiger-Müller counter, the number of radiations which are emitted by the radioactive sample can be counted by the ion pairs. The nuclear radiation enters in the copper cylindrical tube, and in that copper cylindrical tube, the number of ion pairs are produced, and due to that number of ion pairs, the current it is produced, and we can register the current as a count. Now in scintillation counter, when nuclear radiations are incident on the surface of the phosphor, so in scintillation counter we require a phosphor material to produce the scintillation. We require a phosphor material to produce the scintillation. So scintillation counter consists of three parts. Scintillation counter consists of three parts. So you can see here, scintillation counter, it is having the three parts. First one, it is phosphor. Phosphor is a material which produces the scintillation. For example, zinc sulfide or barium platinocyanide. Barium platinocyanide. Okay. So this material can be used as a phosphor, or alkyl halides activated by thallium. Alkyl halides activated by thallium. This material is also used. Alkyl halides activated by thallium. Okay. So with the help of the phosphor, the scintillations can be produced. Scintillation means teeny flash of light. Teeny flash of light. Okay. It is a teeny flash of light. So this is the first part we require in the scintillation counter. Then second part, it is photomultiplier tube, PMT, photomultiplier tube. And third part, it is a electrometer. Electrometer which counts the counter. So which counts the current pulse. So let us see here. So when nuclear radiations are incident on the surface of the phosphor, like zinc sulfide or barium platinocyanide, then they produce scintillations, that is teeny flash of light. And these scintillations can be counted in terms of pulse of current with the help of the photomultiplier tube and electrometer. So this is the principle which is involved in the scintillation counter. So you can see in the diagram, this is the diagram, block diagram belongs to the scintillation counter. So this is the phosphor material which is taken here. This is the photomultiplier tube and this is the electrometer. So scintillation counter consists of three parts. First one, it is a phosphor here, zinc sulfide phosphor, it is used. Second one, this is a very important part of the scintillation counter, that is a photomultiplier tube. And last one, it is an electrometer, can be used to measure the number of the counts. So let us see the working of the scintillation counter, construction of the scintillation counter first. So phosphor, it is a solid organic phosphor like naphthalene or anthracene. It is also used as a phosphor. Solid organic material like naphthalene or anthracene. This can be used as a scintillation counter. Okay. Naphthalene and anthracene. This can be used in the scintillation counter as a phosphor. Then Organic phosphor like another material terphenyl in toluene or xylene can be used. It is a liquid organic phosphor. Then there are inorganic phosphors are also given, like sodium iodide activated by thallium, or zinc sulfide or barium platinocyanide can also be used. Sodium iodide activated by thallium. Okay. Sodium iodide activated by thallium. It is also used. It is an inorganic phosphor. Okay. Now, in this case, a crystal of phosphor is surrounded by a thin aluminum foil. Okay. You can see in the diagram. So this is the thin aluminum foil. Okay. And phosphor material it is taken here. And this is the radioactive sample which emits the radiation. And these radiations are strike onto the phosphor material. And it is surrounded by the thin aluminum foil. The function of the aluminum foil is that to reflect the scintillations towards the photocathode of the photomultiplier tube. Okay, the function of the aluminum foil is that whatever the scintillations which are produced by the nuclear radiations, these scintillations are reflected and they are going to fall onto this photocathode of the photomultiplier tube. So that is the function of the aluminum foil. Okay, so aluminum foil acts as a light reflector. Whatever the scintillations are produced by the nuclear radiations, whatever the tiny flash of the light are produced by the nuclear radiation, that tiny flash of the light get reflected by the aluminum foil. Okay, and they are going to be strike onto the photocathode. Now, second part of the scintillation counter, it is a photomultiplier tube. Okay, so PMT, it is also known as an electron multiplier tube. So what is the function of the photomultiplier tube? Let us see first its construction. It consists of a long metallic vacuum tube. So this is the long metallic vacuum tube. Okay, long metallic vacuum tube, which consists of long metallic vacuum tube, which consists of number of electrodes known as dynodes. Number of electrodes. So these are the electrodes here. This is first, second, third, fourth, then fifth. Okay, and finally anode is here. So this photomultiplier tube or electron multiplier tube consists of a series of electrodes called as dynodes. They are called as dynodes. Okay, see here, dynodes, we can write here dynodes. Okay, so these are the dynodes here. Okay, dynodes particularly, it is a also cathode. Okay, it is coated by some active metal. Okay, so such dynodes are arranged with increasing potential. Suppose that at first dynode there is a 100-volt potential, we can apply. At the second dynode we can apply 200-volt potential. At the third dynode we can apply 300-volt potential. At the fourth we can apply 400-volt. In this way we can apply the increasing potential with to the dynodes or with the help of the dynodes. Okay, so now the surface of the each dynode and the photocathode is covered by a layer of cesium or antimony metal or silver oxide. This surface of the each dynode, it is coated by some active metal. It is coated by some active metal here. Okay, so it has its own importance. The surface of the each dynode and the photocathode is covered by a layer of the cesium or antimony. Cesium and antimony are very active metal or the material like silver oxide. The dynode produces secondary electrons in multiples of incident electrons and the function of the photomultiplier tube is that it amplifies the current. Okay, so once again I would like to draw here the diagram of the photomultiplier tube, and we want to know what is the function of the photomultiplier tube is here. Okay, see, this is the photomultiplier tube or electron multiplier tube. Plays a very important role in the scintillation counter. So scintillation counter consists of three parts: photomultiplier tube and phosphor and electrometer. Now here phosphor, it is this is the aluminum foil which is surrounded by the phosphor. Okay, so zinc sulfide phosphor can be used here, ZNS. Okay, it is a phosphor material because phosphor produces the scintillation. Now nuclear radiation, radioactive sample, it is here. Suppose it emits the radiation in all directions. Suppose it emits alpha particles or beta particles, and we want to count how many number of the alpha particles and beta particles are emitted. Now this is the aluminum foil which acts as a reflector. Aluminum foil which acts as a reflector, whatever the scintillations are produced here. First of all, let us see. This radioactive sample emits the nuclear radiation. That nuclear radiation strike onto the phosphor. Nuclear radiation, okay, which are emitted by the radioactive sample, it will be strike onto the phosphor, and this phosphor produces the scintillation. So number of scintillations are produced here, and that scintillations are reflected by the aluminum foil, and it will be strike onto this photocathode. So this is the photocathode here. This is the photocathode here. Okay, and when this scintillation strike onto the photocathode, then what happens? The electrons are ejected from this photocathode. When these scintillations are strike onto this photocathode, then from this photocathode the electrons are ejected. Now this photomultiplier tube, PMT, which consists of a series of diodes, means electrodes, series of diodes. Such electrodes are there, okay, like this. And finally, there is an anode is kept here. This is anode. So this is anode, and this is connected to the electrometer. Now each diode has an increasing positive potential. So this is first diode 100 volt, this is second diode 200 volt, then this is third diode 300, fourth one 400, like that. This is fifth one 500 volt. So increasing positive potential is there. So what happens first here? The scintillations which are produced by the phosphor due to the nuclear radiations are strike onto this photocathode, and from this photocathode the electrons are ejected. Electrons are ejected, and that electrons are accelerated. You can call these electrons are the primary electrons here. Primary electrons. Why primary electrons? Because these electrons are produced by the scintillations which strike onto the photocathode. Later on, due to the increasing positive potential, these electrons are accelerated to the first diode, and this first diode, it is activated by the cesium metal or antimony metal. It is coated by the cesium metal. So immediately from the first diode, several electrons are ejected. Several electrons are ejected from this. Okay. Suppose one electron is emitted from the photocathode, then one electron will produce 10 electrons here. Then all these electrons are accelerated towards the second diode. 200 applied potential is there. So increasing potential is here, due to that electrons get accelerated. Now the 10 electrons goes to the third anode here. Suppose they are accelerated to the third anode. Suppose 10 electrons are producing here 100 electrons. 1 produces 10, 10 produces 100, 100 produces 1000. So in this way, in multiple number, the number of electrons are produced here. Okay, in multiple number. And later on, finally, that electrons are accelerated toward the anode. Anode which carry the positive charge, electrons carry the negative charge, and current pulse is recorded by the electrometer. Okay, current pulse is recorded by the electrometer. So this electrometer counts the number of scintillations which are produced here. And what is the function of the photomultiplier tube? The function of the photomultiplier tube, it is amplifier, to amplify. It is amplifier. Amplifier means the current which is produced here, that can be enlarged. Okay, so it is working as an amplifier here, because initially only few electrons are ejected from this photocathode. Whatever the electrons which are produced here by the scintillation counter, that electrons are very few. Okay, so the current pulse becomes very, very less here. It cannot be counted. So it is necessary to multiply the number of the electrons. And it is possible with the help of the photomultiplier tube. Initial current pulse cannot be recorded. Therefore, or the initial current pulse becomes very, very less. So the photomultiplier tube amplify the current pulse. And finally, the current pulse, it is recorded by the electrometer. And on the basis of that, we can say that the number of the scintillations produced here, that can be counted, because it is a scintillation counter. And that is our aim, to count the number of the scintillations. So in this way, number of the scintillations are counted here. Okay. So this is the function of the scintillation counter: principle, work, construction, and working of the scintillation counter. So photomultiplier tube plays a very important role here. Okay, the meaning of the photomultiplier tube, it is electron multiplier tube. It multiplies the electron. And in that photomultiplier tube, the number of the diodes are arranged here. Number of the diodes are arranged here with increasing positive potential. You can see this diagram. When the electrons are ejected from this photocathode, they are very small number, very less number. Then they are accelerated to this diode, where large number of the electrons are ejected from the first diode. Then that electrons are accelerated toward the second diode. Okay. Then from the second diode also, large number of the electrons are ejected. They are going to be accelerated to the third diode. In this way, the number of the electrons are produced here in large number, and that electrons are finally collected at this anode, and current pulse, it is recorded by this electrometer. Okay. So in this way, the photomultiplier tube amplify the current pulse, enlarge the current pulse. Initially, the current pulse produced by this electron will be very, very less. Okay, directly we can keep the anode here to count the current pulse. If there, suppose there is no any diode, but current pulse produced by this electron becomes very small, so that cannot be actually counted, and we cannot get the result. That's why the photomultiplier tube multiply the number of the electrons here. So for that purpose, number of the diodes can be arranged in a series with increasing positive potential. Okay, so in this way, current pulse can be amplified and the electrometer counts the current here. Okay, so I think this is the principal construction and working of this scintillation counter. So you can see here, when the nuclear radiation interacts with the phosphor, a flash of light falls on the photocathode. Okay, the scintillations are produced there. The scintillations can be strike onto the photocathode. Already we have explained this photocathode of the photomultiplier tube. Okay, each accelerated electron from the photocathode strike on the first dynode or impinges on the first dynode and ejects several secondary electrons from it. Okay, the secondary electrons then accelerated in the multiple dinodes which are in the photomultiplier tube. Thus, large electrical pulse is produced, which is measured by the electrometer. Okay. So, what are the advantages of this scintillation counter? It is very simple to operate. It has high sensitivity towards all types of radiation. We know Geiger-Müller counter has a very good sensitivity towards alpha radiations and beta radiations, but it cannot count the gamma radiations. Okay, but in this case, all the types of the radiations can be counted by the scintillation counter. Okay, so this is the advantages of the scintillation counter. It has a very short resolving power, and it is more efficient, and it will give accurate results. So in this way, scintillation counter is working. The scintillation counter is working in this way.